What's up, guys? In this video, I'll be going over the Deep Waters podcast, pound for pound top 10 rankings after UFC 328. For those of you who don't know, UFC on Paramount has a podcast that comes out every Monday at noon with Dinthomas, Jorgemasvidal, Dustinpoirier, and Hall of Fame inductee chrisweidman. And every Monday at noon, they go over the previous card that happened on that Saturday, various events going on in the MMA world, whether it's the UFC, the Netflix card, etc., etc. And they give their takes. Pretty interesting podcast. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Like I said, in this video, I'll be going over the pound for pound top 10 rankings, so let's get into it. First up, we have Chris Weidman's. Now, of the four guys on the podcast, two of which have Islam as their number one. That's Chris and Dustin. The other two, Dean and Jorge, have Ilya as their number one. But all four guys have either Islam or Ilya at one, and then the other at two. So just keep in mind that two of them think Islam is the number one, two think Ilya is number one, but then all four guys have both in the top two. So starting with Chris Weidman, he has Islam at number one. I personally agree with that. I think I know he has a loss on his record, unlike Topuria. However, he has many more fights in the UFC. I think he's beat better opponents, I'll say, than Ilya, even though they share quite a few of the same. I mean, Ilya knocked out Volk 3 months after Islam knocked out Volk. Islam's win over Oliveira is more impressive than Ilya's KO win over Oliveira, only because that's in my opinion. It's not a fact, but only because Oliveira has the most subs in UFC history, and he gets knocked down in every single fight. I mean, I can't name the last fight where Oliveira didn't get knocked down. I mean, Poirier's knocked him down. Islam knocked him down before subbing him. Chandler's knocked him down. Pretty sure Gaethje's knocked down Oliveira as well. So I think I will say this though. I think Ilya's win over Holloway is better than Islam's wins over JDM, Poirier, and Moicano. So I definitely have to give that one to Ilya. That being said, though, I think that Islam is deserving the pound for pound number one. If you disagree, that's completely cool. I mean, I can understand 100% if you have Ilya at one. Two-division champion, undefeated, on a three knockout win streak over all former champions and current champion. I mean, Volk is a current champion, but Oliveira, former champion, current BMF. Holloway, former featherweight champion, former BMF champion as well. So definitely get that. Don't want to spend too much time talking about Ilya and Islam, but all four of these guys have them too in their top two. Perfect ranking. Now, Volk at 3, I disagree with. I think that I love Volk. He's definitely in the top 10. He's not number 3, though. I would give that to Pereira. Now, I know that Volk, I was going to say he has only 2 losses to the pound for pound number 1 and 2, but he actually has 3. He has 2 losses to Islam and then 1 to Ilya. Alexpereira has 2 losses in the UFC. And Volk, 2 of his 3 losses were finishes versus Pereira. One of his was, and then the other was a decision to Ankalaev, which was a close fight too. So personally, I would move Alex Pereira above. I mean, there's more to go off of than just their losses. Pereira has beat more champions. Granted, some of those champions, I don't want to say should have never touched the belt, but like Jamal Hill, who else? Let me think. He's beat Jamal Hill. He's got that split decision win over Jan, who's older, past his prime. He's got. I'm trying hard not to say Yuri, even though Yuri just got beat by Olberg, because Yuri is a beast. He's only ever lost to Pereira and now Olberg. So I think Pereira has better wins. He's beat more champions. He has less losses. Granted, Volk has only ever lost the pound for pound number 1 and 2. Fighting for a belt, 50-50 odds to beat Cyril Gahn. Fighting for his third belt, I should say. 50-50 odds to beat Cyril Gahn, who is, he was fighting in a title fight against Aspinall just a few months ago. Actually, no, that was like 7 months ago now, damn. But I think Pereira should be above Volk. I mean, 2-division champion. I don't know if I said that yet, but I'd move Pereira to 3, Volk 4. Jan over Merab, I agree with. I mean, Jan, he was like 1-4 in 5 of his fights at one point. He was on a rough patch. That being said, he's got plenty of great wins under his belt. I prefer Merab as a fighter, but I don't necessarily think I can put Jan above him, mostly due to their last fight. I mean, whether you have Merab or Jan, that's like an Islam and Ilya kind of thing, where if you have one over the other, that's fine. I mean, both these guys have a win over each other. They have, I think Merab has beat more former champions. I mean, he's beat Cejudo, O'Malley, Jan himself. So an argument could be made for either, but 5 and 6 is solid spot for both of them. Strickland at 7. I'd say that's a little high because you have him over a few other champions. I mean, you have him over. I don't see Van in here at all. You have him over not Merab at Bantam, not Jan at Bantam. Featherweight Volk, lightweight is Ilya, Islam, middleweight would be himself. So you have him over Olberg and then Aspinall. Not necessarily sure that he should be there. I mean, Sean, he has beat plenty of former champions, Izzy, Chimaev. He definitely has a decent resume. I don't know if I would put him at 7 just yet. I mean, he hasn't really, I don't want to say he hasn't cleaned out his division, but his wins aren't as dominant as other guys like, say, Pantoja. So Sean, I'd have him at the, towards the bottom of 10, maybe like 9 or 10. Pantoja, I definitely think he fits in the top 10 towards the bottom just because he is out currently, but he lapped his division. He has so many wins over Moreno, Royval, Kaikara France, etc. I mean, he lapped the flyweight division. He beat he had like 9 wins over top 10 guys just a year ago. So Olberg at 9, he's on a 10-fight win streak. Just finished Yuri, who'd only ever been finished by Pereira and only lost in the UFC to Pereira. And then Khamzatchimaev at 10. I like that. I like Olberg isn't undefeated, but he was on he is on a crazy win streak. Chimaev, he was on a crazy win streak, undefeated 16-0. He's got wins over Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, crazy win over Whitaker, dominant win over DDP. So Olberg and Chimaev, I may switch them, but I think this is a solid list. Dustinpoirier, he's got Islam over Ilya. I agree with that. Pereira at 3, that's better than Volk at 3. So yeah, so Pereira at 3, Volk at 4, which, yep, switched Weidmans. I agree 100%. Chimaev at 5 is too high. I couldn't put Chimaev over some of these other guys. I know he only ever lost one fight to Strickland, who, granted, that was a split decision loss too, which isn't even that bad. I mean, Chimaev clearly won rounds 1 and 4, arguably won round 5, depending on who you ask. So, not a bad loss at all. Great resume. He's beat a lot of notable names. Should not be number 5 in my opinion. I know Weidman had him under Jan and Merab. They both have more losses than Chimaev, so that's a factor. Merab was way more active and dominating guys in his division than Chimaev was, so there's an argument there. That's a tricky one. It really is. Oliveira at 8, that's interesting. I mean, he's coming off of 2 wins, one win over Gamrot and then another over Holloway. Win over Holloway, who was the former BMF champion, former featherweight champion. That's a Holloway that just beat Poirier and Gaethje. So, decent win. Wins for Oliveira. I don't know if I'd put him 8, though, because he's above, who else? He's above Van, Strickland, Olberg. I think he's above Olberg. That's fair. Van, Strickland, Olberg, and Aspinall. Don't know if I could put him over all of those guys. I'd have to sit and think it through. Definitely 1 or 2. I could put Oliveira above Van. I don't know if he's over all of them, though. Pantoja, I feel like Pantoja was more dominant than Oliveira, so I don't know if I would put Oliveira above him. I love both these guys, so don't think I'm hating on Oliveira or Pantoja. I'm, meat riding either of them. And then 10, Holloway. Holloway should not be a pound-for-pound top 10 right now. I mean, there's an argument that all 8 champions, undisputed champions should be in here. plus Pereira, who's not a champion. That's 9. And then that last one, I mean, I'd probably put Arman above Holloway. I'd put, you know, Chimaev and Strickland. I mean, Chimaev is not a champion. I'd put him above Holloway, which he did. There's a few names that are not champion right now that could be above Holloway, so he would not make my top 10. Next up, Jorge Masvidal. Where's it at? Where are you at? Or was it Dean? I swear Masvidal was next. Yeah, it is. I only had it up briefly, I guess. Yeah, so Masvidal, he had Ilya 1, Islam 2. I respect it. I disagree, but I respect it. Pereira 3, beautiful. Jan above Volk, I can't get with. I mean, Volk has only ever lost the pound for pound number 1 and 2 in the UFC. Jan was on a 3-fight losing streak. Granted, those the O'Malley loss, for example, was a controversial one, so I can't even say it was a 3-fight losing streak. On paper, it was, but Jan, he's got a disqualification loss to Aljamain Sterling. Can't really put him above Volkanovski, a guy that's beat so many former and any current, no, not any current champions, but so many former champions. I mean, can't put him above Volk. Merab at 6, that's fair. Pantoja 7, fair. Olberg 8, fair. I don't see Strickland. I'd probably put Strickland above Olberg at the very least. 9, Morales. I can't put Morales up there. His win over Brady's aged very well, but Morales has not. He doesn't have the longevity. He doesn't have the resume. He has the power. He has a decent argument for a title shot, especially with the Brady win aging well. I don't think he should pass Protest or Ian Gary just based on like their resumes respectively, but Morales, he's definitely moving up in the welterweight division. He's a beast. I'm looking forward to watching his career unfold, but he's not a pound for pound top 10 right now, bro. He does not surpass, I think Van is better pound for pound. I think who else? Obviously Merab and Jan. Only one of those two is a champion, so it's another champion being left off, right? This is 8 of them, so Van is not on here. Volk, Ilya, Islam, Strickland is left off. Olberg is on. Aspinall's left off. Arman is left off. Like a few guys that should be in the talks, or I don't like that he has Morales above them. I don't think Morales has done enough just yet, so I would definitely take him out. I think that's probably the most questionable. Morales and Holloway are probably the most questionable of all the names I've seen on all 4 of these lists. 10, Oliveira. I like Oliveira. It's tricky when you consider Arman. I don't know if I would put Oliveira above Arman on these lists. And a pound for pound top 15, Oliveira definitely makes the cut, but a top 10, I'm not sure. And then last is Dinthomas. Where are you at, Dean? Back to Masvidal. Ilya 1, Islam 2. All right. Pereira 3, Volk 4, solid, no disagreements. Jan 5, Merab 6, beautiful. 7, Aspinall. Finally we get Aspinall on here. Aspinall, yes, I know he's not, you can't call him active at the moment. He hasn't fought in 7 months, and there's no sign that he'll come back anytime soon. That being said, every guy he's fought besides Gone, he's got a first round I was gonna say KO, but he has a submission win over Volkov. So everybody he's fought, first round finish. Pavlovich, Blades, lost to Blades, but he tore his ACL in that fight. So, I mean, he wasn't even at full go for the full fight. First round finish over Blades, Pavlovich, Marcin Tybura, Volkov, absolute beast. I mean, the only thing that holds Aspinall back is the fact that the guys he fights aren't the most well-rounded versus someone like, Merab or Pantoja or Volk. Maybe not even Volk, because Volk mostly faces strikers in the featherweight division. But let me think. Pantoja's fought a mix of strikers and grapplers. Merab the same. He's got Umar, O'Malley, Jan. He's got some decent, Sanhagen, a solid mix in there. I think that holds Aspinall back, even though he has so many first round finishes. Absolute beast. It's the fact that he hasn't fought so many well-rounded guys. Pantoja at 8, I like that. 9 is Strickland. I think this is the first Dean is the first guy to put Strickland on this list, right? I don't see Strickland here. Poirier or Weidman does not have, or he does have him at 7. And then Poirier, yeah, I don't see Strickland. So Dean has Strickland. Okay, I like that. I mean, he's a champ, right? Got wins over former champions, one over Chimaev, one over Izzy. I'm sure there's another I'm blanking on right now. He had a finish win over Hernandez not long ago where he was a decent sized underdog. So, and then 10, Chimaev, fair. I mean, Chimaev's not a champion right now, but like I said, wins over Burns, Usman, and then moved up and had even better wins against Whitaker first and then DDP. Sorry, I was trying to go in order. So definitely think Chimaev still makes that top 10. These lists, I'd say, are mostly solid. They all have like one thing that stands out to me. Dean's, or let me start with Weidman. His being, I don't know. I like Weidman's list. I'd say it's pretty solid. I would switch Pereira and Volk for sure, and then maybe put Pantoja above Strickland, even though he's not active right now. I'd say I would put him above. Not sure where I'd put Olberg. 100%. Poirier, I would not have Holloway on here, and then Oliveira I'd probably bump down under Pantoja. I know for a fact that Jorge's, I would take Morales out of there. That's the first thing I would do. No disrespect to Morales, he just doesn't have the longevity or the resume. And then Dean, I'd say it's a solid. I like Dean's list. So all in all, these are solid lists. Let me know what you guys think. You know, who you would move around. Let me know what your top 10 is. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.